morning, beautiful being. It's lovely to be out here with you, and let me show you the day. It's a beautiful autumn day here in Wellington. It's very calm, and it's so calm that I don't know whether that throbbing sound you can hear is actually coming from, oh, I don't know, across the valley in Johnsonville. Hi Mike, morning. Or even down from the harbour. Sometimes you can hear sounds coming from the harbour on a very still day. And as you can see, there is no wind at all. So it's just beautiful. Oh look, we've got a little flutterby. It's a white cabbage butterfly. They're an absolute menace in that they eat all the brassicas, but they are pretty nonetheless. Let's get closer. No doubt it'll shy away eventually, but there it is. Something that a lot of New Zealanders don't celebrate, but I do like to see the flutterbys in the garden. And look, you can see there's dew on the ghost plants. See how they're growing back again? I have to prune them so that they do this, so that we get fresh growth. And that's life, really. It goes in cycles. And here's the magnolia starting to brown off its leaves and get ready for winter. And again, there's a cyclic thing. See the flowers? They've got to go through the winter to come into spring. Good morning, Jan. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to see everybody who jumps on and shares their time and their attention with me. And, well, we have some late anemone flowers. Let's just look at this one. There you go. You can see there's dew on it. Oh, look at the centre. It's just delicious. Morning, Amy. So, you know, it's been hard up here, and then we had a lot of rain, so that's why things are a bit brown. But the hebes are still flowering. The hebes are natives, and they're very tough, and they just sort of ignore everything and carry on. And behind them, oh, there's a lot of sunstrike there, but there's the ginkgo. Hang on, let me climb up here in the garden so you can see it properly. I love this foliage. It's so beautiful. So, here's the ginkgo tree. And there's the view. I haven't shown you this view before. See, there's the house and, you know, the washing line. And there is one of the best views in Wellington, at least according to me. So, now, let me turn this around and walk down these very rough steps with some care, because I don't actually want to go, you know, head up heels. So, I got inspired today by just a one-liner in a post that one of my new friends put up, and I just thought, I'm going to talk about that because it kind of struck something in me. And normally when something kind of strikes something in me, it means that somebody who's going to hear this post needs to hear it, I guess. So I trust those little prompts and follow them. And so today I want to talk about taking your power back to yourself. You know, regathering your shattered bits, all of those things that people talk about when it's like you're reclaiming yourself, you're bringing yourself back to yourself, all of that. And for the longest time, I really just used to think that that was, you know, something that you feel very powerful about and very determined about, and when people, you know, try to impose what they want on you, you know, you have boundaries, or you have a different decision, you have a determination about you. It's a very powerful intention. I'm going to take myself back. I'm going to say no. It gets translated a lot into boundaries and choices, and that's all quite true. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But what I wanted to talk about today, of course, I have learned from my inspiration, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and this is the neural net that got sparked up in my head when I read this post, and I thought, yeah, let me talk about this, because taking your power back is actually more than this intention. Oh, look, I've got spider silk all over the phone. Walk through something. It's more than this intention to claim yourself back, to stand in your power, to do all of that. There's actually some science that we can wrap around this, and some understanding which can help us do it better. And that's what I wanted to talk about, at least to the best of my ability. So, we get emotionally invested in stuff, right? We all know about that. Things you want, things you don't want. Really, we have emotional reactions to things, to people, and to places, and to circumstances. That's what it boils down to. And we actually have an emotional reaction to everything. And that's because you have a thought about everything, and when you have a thought, there is chemistry that goes with the thought. Now, a lot of the chemistry you don't notice because it's either just sort of minor run-of-the-mill stuff, or you're so unconscious to it that you don't realise it's happening and it's normal to you. But it's a fact that if you have a thought, there are neurotransmitters that cross the gap between the neurons that have to fire in your head to have that thought, and those neurotransmitters mean that chemistry flows to your body. That's incontrovertible. That's just what happens. So, in that way, every thought that you have about someone you have known, something that you're familiar with, your phone, your car, your television, the cutlery that you use to eat with, everything in your life, every thought that you have about it, every person that you know, the experiences you've remembered with them, the situations in your life, all of those thoughts are wired in your brain. If you've had the thought more than once, it's wired in your brain. If you had the thought once, it depends whether you remember it as to whether it becomes wired in your brain. And every time you think that same thought, you have the same chemistry, which is, if you think about it, like if you get a new cutlery set and you think, oh, I love this cutlery set. I just do. It's beautiful. It's elegant. I adore it. And every time, you're not even thinking about the fact that when you use the cutlery set, you're actually remembering on some level that feeling. There's a feeling of satisfaction. G'day, beautiful people. It's lovely to see you. And so it's a known, it's a thing in your life or a person or a situation or whatever it is that is known to you, and it's wired in your brain. And it has a certain chemistry associated with it. That's, again, just neurological fact. So what's this got to do with taking your energy back? Well, if you have a negative association, let's say to a person, because it's easy to relate to that, because most of us have got somebody in our life that's like, oh God, you have a negative association with someone. Every time you think of that person or have to interact with them, but when you interact with them, you have to think of them. Every time you think of that person, have the experience of somehow having that person in your awareness, whether they're there or not, they're in your awareness, therefore you're thinking about them. That same chemistry is pouring, and if that chemistry is stressful and it keeps on happening, you condition your cells to get used to that chemistry. The cells actually change. If you keep thinking the same stressful thought over and over again, then the cells get used to stress hormones, and the kicker is they actually get addicted to the stress hormones, and then you don't want to think the stressful thoughts anymore, and you're just doing your best to be all zen about stuff, and then out of nowhere a shitty thought comes up and kaboom, it's all going again. You think, what the hell? Your body is actually an addict. It's conditioned to those thoughts and feelings that you've had for however long. So you can see that the thoughts and the feelings, that they go together, and the experiences which generate the feelings, which then generate the thoughts, which then tend to generate more experiences and more feelings and thoughts of the same, literally, in that way, anchor us into the past. Energetically, emotionally, you're having the chemistry, and your body is actually emitting an electromagnetic signal when you're having that chemistry. And you know what I'm talking about. You walk into a room and somebody's sitting there with a face as long as from the South Pole to the North Pole, and you think, oh God, they're going to be that mopey low person, and the whole room is kind of, ugh. People emit energy. Someone who's really sexual, or someone who's really angry, or someone who's really happy. We emit energy. So there's an electromagnetic signature that goes with every single emotion. And there's a whole lot of stuff, but I've just talked about the chemistry and electromagnetism. And the thing is that electromagnetic signal that you can feel from somebody across the room, if they're in a really elevated emotion, whatever it is, has a quantum effect, and it entangles with everything. And if you have, like I did, God, when I was younger, there was a young man who abused me, and he did, and it was justified that I hated his guts and wanted him to die painfully. But I spent at least 20 years sending that towards him with vengeance, with hatred. I don't know, well, he probably would have noticed on some level, but it certainly hurt me. I didn't know that. But it creates an emotional and an energetic bond when you give your attention and energy to someone like that. When you, whatever you feel about somebody bonds you to them, literally, energetically, quantumly. You are entangled. And if that emotion, like it was with me, is based on something horrible that happened when you were 19, and now you're 30, 19, you are still 19 in your body and in your brain while you're thinking and feeling that thing. So your energy is absolutely jammed, stuck, going nowhere in the past. And you might be 39, but you're still 19 in terms of what you're thinking and feeling. You have not moved on from that time, and I had not. So, this is why I don't want to think about, I want to talk about the problem and analysing the problem, because it takes us straight back, and that's not useful. So, this is how we lose our energy to memories, to people. I mean, the people are still there, but in my memory, he was still like that. And it was interesting because after I had diffused that and I'd broken that emotional bond, I called my energy back to me with healing, with forgiveness, with letting go. I actually looked the young man, who's no longer a young man, he's about my age now, up on Facebook, completely changed, different face, looked like a happy chappy, and I thought, well, great, No desire to contact him, don't need to rack all that up. Who knows whether he's really dealt with it or not. But the point is, I'm no longer stuck in the past. I can wish him well, and I did not for a long time. So we get literally, chemically, emotionally, energetically bonded to things and people and places and how we feel about them and how we think about them, and that is how our energy gets scattered. And a person who is very scattered and distracted, and it's because their brain is going from one problem to the next, to the person, to the situation, to that past memory, to this future thing that they're scared about, because they're absolutely certain that it's going to turn out a certain way. So we get stuck in the familiar past, and we also get stuck predicting how we think it's going to turn out. Oh, it's always like this for me. Oh, it never goes properly. Oh, this is lovely, but it's not going to last because the last 10 times it was like that. We also give our energy away to worrying about how the future's going to be, now wait for it, based upon our memories of the past, which keep us in the past. So you're already projecting your future based upon your past, and you are nowhere in the present moment. You are not anywhere now. You are there, you're in the past, and you're there in the future that you think you can predict. But now, you have no energy. You have no energy to create because it's all in the past and it's all in the future. And this is the situation that scatters our energy and makes people feel shattered and broken. And if you think about it, if you have a lot of trauma, all of those powerful memories and neural nets and chemistry yanking you into the past. And by habit, this is just human, anticipating a future to be similar to that. This is how it works. This is actually how it works. It makes so much sense to me to be able to understand, okay, so how do I get out of that? How do I stop my brain, which is trying to protect me from having the same experience that I had when I was 19, my brain is going, oh, I've got to look out for that, got to hate that, got to resist that, got to fight that, endlessly, forever and ever, in an endless loop of replaying the thing over and over and over again, and I hate you, and I hate you, and I want you dead. Pouring that very harmful, physically harmful chemistry to have that going on and on and on and on. And it's fine in the short term. Everybody reacts. Everybody has emotions. I'm not saying don't have emotions. You're going to have emotions. The point is, how long are you going to have that emotion? Because long term, it's physically destructive. I'm quoting Joe again. It's in my head. He's in my head. No organism in nature can tolerate being in survival mode, in stress mode, for extended periods of time. It pushes the buttons the genetic buttons for illness, disease. It just does. So you have to get out of that. And we get, some of us get stuck, like I did, in a refractory period. That's the name of how long the emotion lasts. The child stubs their toes, they scream. The parent comforts them in 90 seconds to 2 minutes, it's over. That's as long as the chemistry lasts. After that, we keep it going. Now, I kept a really nasty refractory state going for at least 20 years. I don't remember how long. It doesn't matter. Point I'm making, you get it. So how long are you going to keep on feeling the thing that you're feeling? And when the thing that you're feeling is layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon of very deep trauma, I'm not suggesting that it's a simple or fast thing to overcome. It's a big deal to overcome it. But you've got to understand it doesn't matter whether the feelings that you are feeling habitually are justified or not. Your body has no choice in the matter. It's just going to respond the same way. It pushes the genetic buttons for disease. So, taking your energy back to yourself out of the past and out of the future that you think you can predict based upon the past is actually really important to your survival. So there's she who was in the process of undoing the effects, cumulative effects of those years, right? I'm doing it too. So how do you do it? Well, how I have learned to do it, and this is directly what I've learned because I never found another way that worked. And in many ways, I wasn't looking very hard by going to do this and to do that and to learn from that practitioner. It was like everything I looked at said, no. I mean, it was like, what's wrong with me? Nothing resonates with me. This particular process resonates with me, and it resonated with me when I first sort of saw it, finally, because I was so resistant, because it was just, based upon the past, it's like, nah, that's not going to work for me. But as soon as I understood it and started listening and learning, it was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then I had an experience, and it was, oh my God, this actually works. Really? So, to get your energy back into the present, you have to become present. And to do that, what I do in meditation every day, one way or another, and you can do this with your eyes open, is you've got to get your attention off all of those things that your brain is obsessing about, and you have to open your focus. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you were to close your eyes and start with putting your awareness in the center of your chest. Now, why there? Go sideways just for a moment, because when you put your conscious awareness in the center of your chest where your heart is, you immediately, and I mean immediately, for as long as you keep it there, and more so as you continue to keep it there, you make a better connection between your heart and your brain. And when you do that, all kinds of things improve in your body instantly. This is instant. It's a fact. It's been measured. I can say that with absolute confidence. So you put your attention there in your heart, and you start to breathe in and out of there, because the breathing in and out of there helps you to keep your attention there. Never mind anything else. Never mind the fact that regulating your breath is good for your nervous system and helps you calm down, gives you something to focus on that isn't all of that other stuff you don't want to give your attention to anymore. And then, this is just the way I talk through it. It's not the way I do it in my meditation, but it's the way I can talk through it quickly, because that's the time we've got. Then, to have your awareness in your heart, and as you breathe, to imagine that your heart, as you breathe in, gets bigger and it expands, and it's like a beach ball or a balloon, and it expands all around you, not just in front of you, not even just behind you. It expands all around you. It's like kind of like you're blowing up a bubblegum bubble, right? From inside you, and it just goes out in all directions, and you're breathing in and you're expanding your heart. And then there's two options. When you breathe out, you can just let it come back into you and imagine all of that lovely energy that you breathed in landing in your heart and warming you up and loving on you, because that's what you're doing. It's breathing in love. Or you can imagine that your heart gets bigger and it goes out around you more. And you're just putting your attention on this beautiful balloon that you're blowing up around you with your awareness. Another way to do it is to start with your awareness in your heart, and then if you're sitting in a room, to try and paste your awareness on the walls of the room. You can start with the wall that's in front of you, And then you can see if you can wrap your awareness onto the walls that are beside you, either side of you. Start with one and then do the other. See if you can keep your awareness on all of those walls. And when you've got that, go for the wall behind you. I love, just adore putting my awareness into the space behind me. Why is that? Because I can't see anything. It's the unknown. It's blank. And it becomes limitless. It becomes just empty. And my awareness gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've practiced this for 2 years now, so I'm pretty good at it. But, this is a place to start. See if you can hold in your awareness the 4 walls of the room you're in. Just open your awareness up. Imagine the texture of the walls. How cold are they? How warm are they? What's on them? I mean, if it helps you, to imagine those walls and what's on them. Just open your awareness. Now, can you open your awareness beyond those walls? Open it up. What's outside them? Is there another room of the house, or is there outside world outside? And, if you're getting tired of going out, why not go up? What about the ceiling? Put your awareness up there as well as on the walls around you. This becomes a wonderful game to play. You can enjoy it. And, when you've got the ceiling and those 4 walls around you, what about the floor? Can you hold that whole space that's around you, above you and below you, in your awareness? And can you make it bigger as you breathe? And if you keep doing this, what you're doing is you are opening your focus. And what happens when you do this is that eventually, and it can be a wrestling match, because you notice your brain wanting to go back to the things it's been obsessing over. But as you relax into it and practice it more and keep your awareness on the things you're going to choose to pay attention to instead of your brain going, oh, but this person and that thing and blah, 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 your brain will sooner or later shut up and get quiet. It becomes more coherent. So, and when you've done that, when you do that, you've disconnected from all of those things. For that time while you're doing it, you've disconnected from all those things that were yanking you out of the present, into the past and into the future, and you're right here, right now. And that's the first step. There's more to it than that, but we run out of time. Maybe we'll pick it up tomorrow. So I'm going to stop. I guess we will pick it up tomorrow. This is a great topic. I just love explaining this. And I want to say that if anybody is into YouTube and you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, please go and check it out. There's a link in the post somewhere, or you can find me, just look for my name. I'd love your support, but only if it's useful to you. Big love. Thank you for sharing your attention and your energy with me, because I feel it and I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.